Access to abortion medication for millions of women across the country stays legal after the Supreme Court's late decision tonight. We'll tell you what the justices are saying. Plus,
this is 6th Avenue, and it's a main thoroughfare through some of America's most productive farmland. And for the next 10 miles, it's several feet underwater.
it's a modern-day ghost story. What was once the largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi disappeared for decades and has since resurfaced after record-breaking atmospheric rivers dumped water and snow, threatening entire communities. We'll take you to Tulare Lake. And
I was really distracted from some terrible things taking place in my country. And now running is my biggest therapy and stress relief.
from war-torn Ukraine to the most prestigious sporting events in the world, we follow one mother, wife, and activist as she trades hard-hit Kyiv for the streets of Boston and helps heal her country 1 mile at a time. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Kana Whitworth in for Lindsay Davis tonight, and thank you so much for streaming with us. It is a busy night here. We're following those stories and much more, and that includes the developments out of North Carolina after the shooting of a 6-year-old and her parents when a basketball rolled into a neighbor's driveway. Plus, the bridge inferno that engulfed a massive thoroughfare in the Northeast, and the search that is underway right now after $20 million worth of gold and high-value goods disappeared at one of the world's biggest airports. What police are saying about who's responsible for this heist. Our correspondents are fanned out across the country covering all of this for us tonight. But of course, we begin with that breaking news from the Supreme Court in a case that could have nationwide implications for abortion rights. It was a 7-2 decision. Justices issued a stay on a lower court's ruling that would put severe restrictions on access to the abortion pill mifepristone. Now, that medication was approved by the FDA 2 decades ago and is used in more than half of all abortions in America. For now, mifepristone will remain available as the legal battle continues. This case very well could return yet again to the Supreme Court. And this is the first major decision before the court involving abortion since Roe versus Wade was overturned less than a year ago. So ABC's Devin Dwyer, he's joining us right now from Washington. Devin, I know you have been poring over this decision all day long, keeping a close eye on it. Can you break it down for us?
Kana, this came down almost to the wire. The Supreme Court gave itself until midnight tonight to decide on what to do in this case, and they said status quo. This is a status quo action by the Supreme Court, and the decision itself is only a paragraph, with the justices saying that they are going to decline to let those lower court rulings take effect. Those rulings from a Texas judge and the conservative Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans would have put in substantially restrictive guidelines around the use of mifepristone, which is the most widely used abortion method in America. Instead, the justices, recognizing, I think, just how sweeping an impact those restrictions would have put them on ice right now while the legal battle continues. Next month, on May 17th, the appeals court in New Orleans is set to hear arguments in this case. It will continue. This debate and battle will play on. But for now, the Supreme Court says the drug can remain available, as always, with the guidelines that are on the books right now, as they've been for the last few years. A huge relief, not only for millions of American women in the Biden administration, but for the pharmaceutical industry, Kana, which was very concerned about the implications of this decision.
Right, and do you want to elaborate on that at all, Devin, about what this means for the pharmaceutical industry?
Yeah, drug companies, Kana, were deeply concerned by the fact that a court, first a Texas court, a single judge appointed by Donald Trump, then an appeals court, waded into the approval process for an American drug. That has never happened before in this country. The FDA is considered the gold standard in designing, evaluating the safety and efficacy of medicines that go on the market. They rely on science. They are independent of politics. And the judge in this case in Texas said that basically the FDA didn't study the science well enough, used flawed science, botched the approval process, if you will, and he put it on hold. So the drug companies were very concerned that if that is allowed to stand, that could spell consequences for a whole host of drugs across the industry, harming the credibility of the FDA, really creating a lot of uncertainty. So tonight, that industry is also breathing a huge sigh of relief.
Certainly, and we also, just heard from the president who weighed in on this as well. What can you tell us there?
That's right. Yeah, the president putting out a statement just a few seconds ago, making clear to women nationwide that mifepristone remains available and approved for safe use while they continue this legal battle. He says the administration will continue to defend the FDA's independent expert authority to review, approve, and regulate a wide range of prescription drugs. The White House also tuned into that FDA authority piece. But as you said at the top, Kana, big relief, big impact for 64 million women in this country, especially those, a majority of those women, which believe that this drug should remain.
George Washington University Law School professor Sonia Suter. So she is the founding director of the Health Law Initiative. And Sonia, thank you so much for joining us on this busy night. Do you have an immediate reaction to this court's decision?
Well, thank you for having me. My immediate reaction is to be not that surprised, but I don't really think we can read a whole lot into this decision. All we know is that a majority of the justices thought that they should maintain the status quo while it continues to go through the more fulsome litigation process in the lower courts. So I think this is going to be another long ride. I don't think we're over this yet. There's a lot more to sort out.
Right, and also cases related to access to medicated abortion will continue in both the Fifth Circuit case rolling back this access to mifepristone, the Washington State case as well, blocking the FDA from curbing access. So what do you see here as this moves forward?
Right. So we have a lot of different litigation surrounding the medication abortion pills, but probably the most significant is the trial court in the district court in Texas ruling that it should be essentially revoked, the approval, and then a federal district judge in Washington saying that the status quo should be maintained. So that ruling stands right now. But I think the Fifth Circuit will issue its ruling after the 17th, and then it's likely to go back up to the Supreme Court. There's also another case that was raised by the manufacturer of the generic drug in another district court arguing that the approval process should continue as it has been, which would allow it. It was approved in 2019 and they wanted that decision to stand. So there's a lot of movement going on right now.
Right, and we heard Devin talking a little bit about what this means overall for the pharmaceutical industry. So what is at stake here for the FDA and its authority then to be able to regulate any medication?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of things going on in these decisions, but one of the most significant ones was to have a trial court judge, federal district judge, decide that an FDA approval process that was decided 23 years ago should be revoked or rescinded. And most people can't think of any other instance in which that has happened. And so if that could stand, then that means that any other drug could be challenged. And there are many other controversial drugs, other drugs related to emergency contraception or drugs related or approval process for vaccines. So that really would destabilize the pharmaceutical industry, which relies on some sort of a certainty after the FDA has proved their drug to know that they can continue to market it. But if you can have a drug be approved, be on the market for 23 years, and then have it pulled from the market, that's deeply problematic. And if you're a pharmaceutical company, you may think twice about investing money in research to develop drugs, particularly ones that might be deemed socially controversial.
Right, especially future development of drugs, as you point out there. Also, this is the court's first major decision on the abortion issue since overturning Roe versus Wade last year. Does it provide any new insight on the court's current thinking on this issue?
I really don't think so. I mean, all we know is that Alito and Thomas didn't agree, but it's possible that there are two other justices who also dissented and just didn't want to voice that publicly. So we really don't know much. And even the fact that we know that there are at least 5 justices who thought that we should maintain the status quo, that still doesn't tell us anything. I'm sure that Chief Justice Roberts worked really hard to achieve this result because I think it would have been problematic with so many people not really having much faith in the federal courts right now, particularly the Supreme Court. So I think maintaining the status quo was the least destabilizing sort of decision by the court. But it really depends how the Fifth Circuit rules. There are other ways to approach this. There's also another approach to trying to access or limit access to mifepristone, and that deals with the 1873 law called the Comstock Act, which the Fifth Circuit sort of gave some hints that they thought might be another way to think about this. So much turns on what the ultimate decision is of the Fifth Circuit. And then, you know, how will the Supreme Court rule? Hard to know.
Right. Sonia Suter, our thanks to you and your expertise tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Now, also tonight, the North Carolina man accused of shooting a 6-year-old girl and her parents after a basketball rolled into his yard appeared in a Florida court today, and he was in custody after a manhunt ended in his surrender hundreds of miles away from the incident. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef.
Tonight, the North Carolina man accused of shooting a 6-year-old girl and her parents over a stray basketball, waiving extradition in Florida.
Mr. Singletary, you're here on a fugitive warrant from North Carolina. It does not have a bond. Are you going to sign the waiver of extradition form today?
Indeed.
Thank you, sir.
Robert Singletary surrendering in Tampa, 500 miles from the crime scene he fled, leading authorities on an urgent 48-hour manhunt. Singletary now facing multiple charges, including 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder, after police say he opened fire on his neighbors just outside of Charlotte on Tuesday. Bullet fragments hitting 6-year-old Kinsley White's left cheek.
Why did you shoot my daddy and me?
Kinsley's father, William White, who ran to protect her, also shot. Her mother grazed. This shooting, one of at least 4 this week, where everyday occurrences from a wrong turn into a driveway to knocking on the wrong door ended in gunfire.
It's an absolute travesty that what should have just been a mild conversation with a child about anything turned into someone getting shot.
Right, and our thanks to Ariel for that reporting tonight. Also in Connecticut, a busy stretch of I-95 shut down today after a tanker truck rolled on a bridge and ignited a fireball that then spread below. The driver didn't survive, and now there are concerns over possible contamination. ABC's Mona Kosar-Abdi reports.
The Gold Star Bridge, oh my God!
Massive flames, billowing smoke, passengers stunned.
One person left in the vehicle, getting their rolled over vehicle.
A fuel tanker rolling over on the Gold Star Memorial Bridge in Groton, Connecticut, killing the driver and injuring 2 others. Good Samaritans rushing to help the occupants of this crashed car. A woman appears to flee the wreckage.
Looks like a passenger vehicle, tire blew out. Created an incident with a tractor trailer truck that went over, spilling about 2,200 gallons of fuel.
In the chaos, people embracing beneath the black smog.
The freeway is literally on fire.
The bridge, which carries more than 100,000 vehicles a day across 11 lanes, grinding to a halt. The southbound portion remains closed. Chris Stevens drove by the inferno and took this video.
It's terrifying to look at, and then as you're driving by it, you just feel the heat. Like within a minute, when I was stuck in traffic there, I was sweating from it.
And Kana, fuel did spill into the river below the bridge, but authorities believe that most of it has been contained. The mayor of Groton says the intensity of the fire and smoke may have melted some of the highway's guardrail, and structural engineers will have to come take a look. Kana?
All right, Monar, thanks to you. And also tonight, severe weather is making its way across the country. Let's get right to senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. So, Rob, I know really you're specifically concerned about these next couple of days here. What can we look at?
Well, it's the same system, Canada, that dropped tornadoes here the last couple of days. So we got to be vigilant here as it pushes off towards the east. So far, so good today. We've just had a couple of severe thunderstorms. It's mainly across parts of Mississippi. You can see where the front is. It's pushed across Chicago now, and it will continue to push east across the Ohio River Valley. Still snowing on the backside of this thing, but the strongest storms, I think, over the next few hours will be across Dixie. And then, again, reinvigorated tomorrow as heat builds in the Carolinas and in through the mid-Atlantic. Damaging winds, large hail, a tornado not out of the question. Charleston up through Raleigh, Norfolk, even up through D.C. and Philly, and maybe even New Jersey seeing some rough stuff. And then during the overnight period, New York City gets it on the I-95 corridor up through Connecticut and then through Boston. Mostly rain, but there'll be some damaging winds in spots. We could use the rain. It's been pretty dry, but obviously could do without any sort of damaging wind. Kana?
Yeah, we know how that goes. Rob, thank you. Also tonight, a gambling scandal is unfolding in the NFL. The league has suspended 5 players for violating the NFL's gambling policy. Detroit Lions players Quintus Cephas and C.J. Moore, also the Washington Commanders' Shaka Toney, have been suspended indefinitely, accused of betting on NFL games. Also, the Lions immediately released both of those players. And if you stay in Detroit for a moment, Stanley Berryhill and also last year's first-round draft pick Jamison Williams have also been suspended for 6 games for those gambling violations. And the FBI is now investigating a suspected hate crime after a swastika was found carved into the back of a Jewish student with autism. According to the Anti-Defamation League, the student is a senior at Clark High School in Las Vegas. Well, the school district said they have interviewed the staff and reviewed available camera footage, but, quote, found no evidence that would indicate the origin of the injuries. Also tonight, we have some new details for you after prosecutors dropped all of the charges against actor Alec Baldwin in that fatal shooting on the Rust movie set. A source tells ABC News that the decision came after forensic evidence revealed new facts about the weapon. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman has more on what they found.
Tonight, a source tells ABC News that newly appointed special prosecutors decided to formally drop involuntary manslaughter charges against Alec Baldwin, in part because the gun that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins was mechanically improper. That contradicts an earlier report from the FBI that the gun was functional and could only be made to fire with a trigger pull. But tonight, that source telling ABC News investigators determined the gun that killed Hutchins on the movie set of Rust had worn joints and could fire without pressure on the trigger. That new evidence is consistent with what Baldwin told our George Stephanopoulos back in December 2021, that he did not pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never. That was the training that I had. You don't point a gun at me and pull the trigger at them.
In dismissing the case, those new special prosecutors stating new facts were revealed that demand further investigation and forensic analysis. The case is being dismissed without prejudice. The investigation is active and ongoing.
The fact that they have not asked for a delay, but that they have dropped the charges against him would sure seem to indicate that they don't think they have a case.
On Instagram Thursday, Baldwin thanking his wife, Hilaria, and his lawyer, Luke Nikas, writing, "I owe everything I have to this woman and to you, Luke."
And our thanks to Matt Gutman for that tonight. Also, we move to Colorado now, where a young woman was killed after a rock was thrown through her windshield. Now, authorities believe it was actually part of a series of connected incidents, and they're asking the public for help. ABC's Mola Lengi is in Denver.
Tonight, police are searching for anyone connected to what they call a crime spree in Colorado that caused the horrific death of Alexa Bartell. A rock thrown at her car as she was driving. Police say shattering her windshield, killing her.
This is a 20-year-old girl who was simply driving home and is now the victim of a homicide. And we want answers.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says Bartell was on the phone with a friend when it happened. The call suddenly going silent.
Her friend used an app to locate Alexa's phone and found Alexa's car off of the roadway into a field. And as she approached the vehicle, she saw that Alexa was inside and that she was deceased.
Police say rocks were thrown at 5 cars within the span of 1 hour late Wednesday, either from the side of the road or a passing vehicle. Each rock weighing between 3 to 5 pounds. 2 others were injured.
She just uplifted people.
Emily Audette knew Bartell from high school.
She definitely left a mark on a lot of people, and I hope that inspires people moving forward to be a lot more like she was.
All right, and our thanks to Mola Lengi for that tonight. Well, the Russian Defense Ministry is now confirming that the Russian Air Force itself accidentally bombed its own city of Belgorod, right near the Ukrainian border. This bomb was dropped by a Russian warplane, and it caused, you see that there, a powerful blast, injuring 2 people. This video shows, a huge crater. There's piles of concrete on the street and a building with all the windows blown out. Local government officials say that they temporarily moved residents of a 9-story apartment building for fear that it would just collapse. The Belgorod region and its actual fuel and ammunition stores, they say, have been rocked by explosions since the start of what Moscow calls its special military operation in Ukraine. Also tonight, there is growing concern for thousands of Americans and U.S. Embassy personnel that are trapped by the fighting right now in Sudan. ABC's Marcus Moore has the latest.
Tonight, a fragile ceasefire reached in Sudan after a week of intense fighting that has left at least 400 people dead. The two rival military groups saying they have agreed to a 72-hour truce to allow humanitarian aid to enter the country and to celebrate the end of Ramadan. But with gunfire continuing in the capital of Khartoum, even after the announcement, there's growing concern over the safety of the estimated 16,000 Americans currently inside Sudan, including roughly 70 U.S. Embassy personnel sheltering in place. The main airport damaged, closed indefinitely. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin confirming today U.S. forces have now deployed to the region to assist with the possible evacuation of embassy workers.
We always want to make sure that we're doing prudent planning, which is what we're doing. We've deployed some forces into theater to ensure that we provide as many options as possible.
The State Department adding that it's been in contact with hundreds of private American citizens inside Sudan to provide support.
We have been clear-eyed about how American citizens should not travel to Sudan for months now. We have communicated to American citizens in the country about safety and security measures and precautions that they can take.
All right, and our thanks to Marcus Moore tonight. We still have a lot to talk about here on Prime. Here's a question for you. Is the 40-hour work week getting shorter? We'll take a look by the numbers. Also coming up, we have an interview with Questlove, the DJ, drummer, Academy Award winner, filmmaker, children's author. The list goes on and on. But he talks about the fear that he had to overcome first. But next, in our Prime Focus tonight, it's an environmental ghost story come true. The return of one California lake and the consequences, why farmers are concerned about what a record snowmelt could bring.
How much time do you have?
It depends. If the weather would get real warm, then I think we're all in trouble. There's a lot of people going to be in trouble.
Whenever news breaks.
The crush of families here in Poland.
Here in Kentucky, no match for the tornado.
From Monterey Park, California, on the ground in Ukraine.
Reporting from Uvalde, Texas.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
From Kathmandu, Nepal.
Truckee, California, covering record snowfall.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
Here at this airport in Tampa, it's already shut down.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Reporting from Jerusalem.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
With so much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. But a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
And welcome back. Tonight, we're closing out our special week-long coverage on the power of water and bringing you to what's tantamount to a ghost story. California's record rain has put one of the most important places in America for our food supply at risk, and also it brought back a lake not seen in generations. And tonight, as warmer weather is here, there is concern that this situation could get even worse. In tonight's Prime Focus, we visit Tulare Lake and get a look at this slow-motion crisis playing out right before our eyes.
I don't think we're going to stop it from happening.
A frantic race to save communities in California's Central Valley. Do you feel like you're sitting ducks?
It all depends.
We just don't know how much, because it's going to be a matter of how much gets dispersed.
The relentless downpour of California's record rain season has a lake not seen in generations re-emerging, and with it, a dire flood danger.
How much time do you have?
Depends. If the weather would get real warm, then I think we're all in trouble. There's a lot of people going to be in trouble.
This is a modern-day ghost story. You have, in your 22 years here, you have heard about the ghost of Tulare Lake.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Located in Central Valley, California, Tulare Lake was fed by the rivers and streams running down from the Sierra Nevada, once the largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi. In the 1880s, the water was diverted and used on farmland, growing pistachios, cotton, tomatoes, oranges, and lemons that feed the world. As the crops grew, the lake shrank until nothing remained. The lakebed became farmland itself, and homes and businesses. The region also grew into the largest dairy-producing county in the nation and California's #1 agricultural industry. And while flooding has plagued the area on and off for years, nothing like this. This is incredible. What you're seeing here is hundreds of little minnows, tiny little fish that are now growing right on top of a road because of Tulare Lake. Nothing could stop the water. Some levees broke and others cut by authorities desperate to relieve the pressure of water inundating Tulare and Kings counties. You can see the water lapping up here in Tulare Lake for the first time in 4 decades, but it's coming onto a road. In fact, this is 6th Avenue, and it's a main thoroughfare through some of America's most productive farmland. And for the next 10 miles, it's several feet underwater. And now, a new danger looms. The barrage of storms producing record snowfall in the Sierra, and as it melts, it runs off into the rivers that feed the lake.
What occurred already this winter, there is a growing amount of snowmelt right now, but something like 95% of the water that was up there a month ago is still there and still waiting to come downstream. So as significant as the flooding is right now, it's likely to get considerably worse in the weeks to come before it abates.
So this is a wheat crop that's totally flooded.
Yeah.
There's birds swimming in it. It looks more like a wetland.
It is now.
Peter DeYoung is a 10th generation dairy farmer, and like many in the area, he was left scrambling to save his herd. This is a house on your property where one of your farm workers lives, and you were forced to make the decision of saving the house between saving your cows?
Yeah.
I mean, those are really hard decisions to face.
Yeah. Well, because you run out of manpower, equipment, time, so you go with what's most important. So as the water was climbing, we were building levees to hold it back. And then funny thing is, about the time it reached the driveway, and I said, hey, it's time to pull the plug.
You moved how many?
And we moved 2,300 milking, 200 dries, and probably in the neighborhood of 1,000 heifers off this site.
And how many truckloads of hay?
And probably about 150 truckloads off of this site. It'd be like on a ranching.
And Peter knows more water is coming. And while he builds permanent levees, he's considering selling some cattle, as most of their food has also been destroyed. $3 to $4 million underwater.
Yeah.
According to the USDA, agriculture is a more than $10 billion industry in Tulare and Kings counties. 18% of the entire country's pistachios are grown here, nearly 16% of our citrus.
This is really the breadbasket of the world, especially for trees and vegetables, and pretty much everything a guy in New York eats on his plate comes from California.
It could be years before the water dissipates and the crops can be replanted.
There's going to be significant more flooding.
Just 2 weeks ago, this area hadn't flooded?
It had not.
And now we've got tractors underwater,
Yes.
We've got silos filling with water.
Yep, exactly right.
Exactly right.
1,000 acres of land, 1,000 acres of land. 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 1,000 acres of land.
climate change only exacerbating these extremes.
I think that, in a climate change context, we do expect two major things to happen. We do expect to see more severe droughts in California as temperatures rise, as the atmospheric thirstiness increases, if you will. We also expect to see more severe floods. In fact, we do expect eventually to see floods that are considerably more severe and widespread than what we've seen this year.
CAL FIRE also tasked with creating a critical exit route by raising this road 6 feet, allowing people in low-lying Allensworth and Alpaugh to escape.
This was all completely underwater, so that all used to be like 2 feet of water on that road that you guys drove in. That was way, way up high. So a lot of water everywhere.
On the other side of the levee is the city of Corcoran, home to more than 20,000 people, many of them farm workers. The city now rushing to raise their main levee.
Is it fair to say that this problem is so massive that you've sort of had to create a singular focus in protecting Corcoran because there really isn't anything else you can do?
Correct. Yeah, you can't stop this, right? It's impossible. You can't, it's natural. It's, I guess, the way God intended it for it to happen, and you can't stop it. And, they put dams up and for lakes, and as you see, it's still not stopping it.
A generations-old ghost story, now a real-life nightmare.
So, you believe in the ghost of Tulare Lake now, I bet?
I do, yeah. It's real.
They think it could be years before that water dissipates. It's 8 to 10 feet in some places, and as one farmer told me, he's got all the water he ever wants, but no land to plant anything on. We still have a lot more to get to here tonight. Coming up, swept up by war, but finding peace in running. We follow one Ukrainian woman and her mission to complete the Boston Marathon. Also on high alert, why scientists say the volcano behind Colombia's deadliest natural disaster might be about to blow. But next, as you punch the clock on another work week, the new study about our shrinking work day, we take a closer look by the numbers.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
Brooke Shields, the most photographed woman in the world.
A sexualized child model.
Exploitation.
What happened to her isn't really about her, it's just about women.
I let myself be vulnerable, and this is the first time I've ever spoken about what happened. I thought my one no should have been enough,
When someone like Brooke Shields talks about it, it makes a difference.
I'm amazed that I survived any of it.
With so much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. Been a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
You never know what you're going to get on this show. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yes, Whoopi! This mic on? Can you hear me out there?
Behind
the scenes is always a better show.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what people don't see during the commercial breaks.
Right, they don't.
What happened?
I had no idea really what I was getting myself into.
That day that we walked out, I treasured that day. I couldn't sit there.
You're doing good, Joy. You're doing good.
Oh, yeah, baby. It was crazy.
Behind the Table. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The greatest and biggest scandal in chess history.
I was shocked.
This is the greatest story in the chess world.
What's it like to be named in a $100 million lawsuit?
Surprising.
This was huge for global headlines and one of the first times that chess was on everyone's radar.
This is bigger than chess.
These allegations were huge.
Holy that was my reaction.
This is Impact by Nightline, now streaming on Hulu. This is where the newsmakers come first in the morning to be heard. America's #1 morning show.
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000.
Yeah.
Are you worried about going to jail?
You write that you had low-grade depression. How'd you get out of that?
Wherever the story, ABC's Good Morning America is right there.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
And welcome back. On this Friday, some potentially good news for the work-weary. Economists say that we're actually scaling back on our on-the-job hours. So we have these details for you by the numbers. Americans' work hours are often well beyond their international counterparts, as we know. We work some 400 hours more than Germans every year, according to UN data. But new indications suggest we might actually be slowing down. U.S. work weeks were nearly 40 minutes shorter at the end of last year than they were before the pandemic, according to a University of Maryland study. College-educated young men dropped the most in hours, putting in 1.5 fewer hours every week. Women in that same age group and education group cut back about half that much, while Black and Hispanic employees over 55 saw the least change. But even those self-proclaimed workaholics are down, clocking 52 hours from 55 hours, and it's not clear why we're scaling back. Economists point to a 500% increase in remote work as a potential time saver. They also suggest that workers who can afford to might be seeking a better work-life balance in the wake of the pandemic. I hope our bosses are hearing this. But look, these numbers, they might not seem huge, right? But when you put it all together, those hours lost equal 2.4 million workers out of the workforce, which further complicates the Fed's effort to tamp down inflation, partially driven by a labor shortfall. Now, the trend's effect on the economy may be hard to estimate, but it's good news for our collective mental health, everybody. TGIF to you. But we have a lot more to get to on Prime, so don't go anywhere just yet. We'll talk about a 6-time Grammy Award winner who also has an Oscar. Yeah, Questlove. We'll talk about his new book and how he paid tribute to the late artist Prince. But next, going the distance with war raging around her. How one Ukrainian woman found therapy in running and her mission to complete the Boston Marathon for the country she loves. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
What does it take to be America's #1 news? It takes asking the straightforward, tough questions.
Do you believe that Donald Trump should ever be president again?
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000.
Yeah.
Are you worried about going to jail?
You write that you had low-grade depression. How'd you get out of that?
The news-making interviews.
You said that there were 6 friends. One of them was sick.
Yeah.
Do you have future political aspirations?
Going to the front line.
The search for survivors. How does this war end?
And getting to the heart of the story.
Thank you for being here. We'll be here for the long run.
ABC News, #1 in the morning, the #1 newscast, #1 in daytime talk, Friday nights, Sunday mornings versus the competition, and the #1 streaming news. Thank you for making ABC News America's trusted, straightforward first choice.
With so much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. Been a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
from the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
The greatest and biggest scandal in chess history.
I was shocked.
This is the greatest story in the chess world.
What's it like to be named in a $100 million lawsuit?
Surprising.
This was huge for global headlines and one of the first times that chess was on everyone's radar.
This is bigger than chess.
These allegations were huge.
Holy that was my reaction.
This is Impact by Nightline, now streaming on Hulu.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're gonna love it.
13 women opened their doors to the man who would end their lives.
Truth and Lies, The Boston Strangler, the new true crime podcast series. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts and watch Boston Strangler starring Keira Knightley, streaming on Hulu.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
And welcome back. We're tracking several headlines from around the world right now, starting with aerial video captured eruptions at Colombia's Nevada del Ruiz crater. With an emergency officials, they're on standby because of this possible uptick in activity at this volcano. It's actually one of the region's deadliest volcanoes. An eruption back in 1985 buried an entire settlement and killed more than 25,000 people. Also, a total of $20 million worth of gold and other high-value goods has been stolen after being offloaded from an aircraft in Toronto. Now, the heist occurred when a high-value container was just stolen from a holding cargo facility after it was taken off a plane that landed at the airport. Police say they have no idea where the gold is. Across the Middle East and North Africa, thousands of worshipers flock to mosques in their capitals, reciting ritual scriptures, praying, and greeting each other for Eid al-Fitr. The holiday marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan, where Muslims fast from dawn to dusk. Celebrations are held all over the world. Well, he's a Grammy-winning musician. He is an Oscar-winning director, a DJ, an author, and even more. The superstar Questlove sat down with our Lindsay Davis to discuss his new novel, The Rhythm of Time, and his efforts to teach teens and young adults to stay true to themselves through his writing.
You've said you had a fear of kids. What's that about?
I mean, kids are, you know, there's a brutal honesty there because they're not taught to adjust to what other people think about them. I had a situation once in which maybe back in, it's like after we won our first Grammy, and someone in the Philadelphia school system did the whole like, come on, Quest, talk to the kids and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. Knowing good and well that like they've not seen me on TRL or 106 in Park or that sort of thing. And so I came to this like giant, this convention where like there were a whole bunch of kids and I was doing Q&A with them. And the first kid was like, yeah, I have a question. Do you know like a real celebrity like Andre 3000?
Like
and I was just
not.
like, yeah, so After that, I was like, nope, only college students. So.
But this was a desire of yours for a while.
During the pandemic, I was doing like these long, arduous exercises of like writing down every fear I ever had, everything that I said I couldn't do. And I'll say that writing a kid's book, like I always dreamed of time traveling because like all my favorite movies deal with time traveling, and even when I do dinner parties, I do these like, you know, what time, you know, period would you go to?
Raheem is the main character, obviously, set in Philadelphia, where you were born and raised. Yeah. 1997, what's the significance of him going back in time to 1997?
There's a group that both he and his father have a love for called For the Hard Way. And when he's given this, or when he's inadvertently given this device that he doesn't know is a time machine, he just types in like where their last concert was before one of the members of the group got in a severe injury that ended the group. And he accidentally winds up right in that time period, and he inadvertently saves the group member from meeting that fate, which he doesn't know that small action, once he gets back to modern times, will affect everything. It affects his family, it affects him, it affects music history, it affects the world. And it's kind of fun seeing how him and his best friend, Kasia, sort of try to remedy this minor butterfly wing of a mistake.
Super impressive that you're not just a book author, but now you started your own imprint.
Yeah, I started our imprint, which is called Iowa.
Not to Prince?
Lovingly named after Prince's world-famous bird call.
And why? Why did you decide to name the imprint?
So Prince and his first wife, Maite, had a child in October of '97. And his fan base really didn't know the name of the baby. The baby only lived for like less than a week. So I had no idea that the baby had an identity, a name, a birth certificate, and all those things. And it wasn't until he passed that Maite sort of brought it full circle. Like, I knew that he knew that we had a name in common. He would call me all the time and call me Prince because Amir means prince. And when Maite told me, like, you know, he was so fond of that name and he loved, you know, like, he wanted to name the baby Amir. And that really, that touched me, you know, because this guy's like my musical hero. And so I kind of wanted to pay it forward to him and sort of name something after something that he's associated with.
So what kinds of books will we find in your imprint?
Pretty much things that I've desired to read, or, you know, we just basically started and established like a couple months ago. So that, you know, be stuff about music. We pretty much have a vast array of projects coming out.
Talk to me about the label Alt Black Kids.
I didn't fit into, like, I was the weird black kid. I was the weird black kid with this, you know, gargantuan hair. I dressed weird because my mom had a sense of fashion, so kids aren't used to seeing like holes in your jeans or paint on your jacket or, you know, a do-rag before it was like hip-hop fashionable. You know, I was progressive and basically past a nerd. Like, I was just an easy target for kids. I'm trying to plant seeds into kids that it's who you are in your heart that makes you shine, not what you are on the outside.
You are the quintessential multi-hyphenate. I mean, normally when people are multi-hyphenate, they might do three things.
Right.
But, you know, you're a musician, you act, you DJ, you know, and you write. You're doing it at such a high level. By the way, I already won an Academy Award. By the way, I have multiple Grammys.
Right.
I mean, there's so much. Is there some territory, some space that you have not yet conquered that is next?
Yeah. Stopping. I took all these gigs because of my fear of poverty. You know, well, okay, I'll produce this and that, this, that, and the other. You know, when the pandemic stopped and the entire world stopped, that's literally the first time in not even my, like, I've been working since the age of 5. Now, before 2020, I would have said that with pride. The one thing that I really want to just hammer home to anyone is, yes, despite all these jobs that I'm known for, I'm literally trying to just whittle it down to see if I can do the ultimate job, which is nothing.
Such a fan. Pleasure to talk to you
and
all that you're doing. Just so impressive.
Thank you. All right.
Oh, and he's busy helping a lot of rising stars right now, too. The Rhythm of Time is available wherever books are sold, and our thanks to Lindsay Davis for that, of course. And finally tonight, we bring you the story of Marichka Podolko, a Ukrainian news anchor whose life has been turned upside down by the war and family has been separated by conflict. But now she is taking action and participating in one of the most prestigious sporting events in an effort to bring needed resources to her country, one step at a time. Lindsay Davis has that story.
Running has always been kind of entertainment and something that helped me to live through this year. I was really distracted from some terrible things taking place in my country, and now running is my biggest therapy.
Like many of her fellow Ukrainians, Marichka Podolko has had to adjust to a new way of life in the midst of war, a war that she lives and covers as a news anchor. Needless to say, it's a stressful time, and to cope, she runs. We last saw her in January, living in a dark Kyiv apartment with her son. The power had just gone out.
We have charged power banks, we have headlights, candles, and we have plans what to do when there is no electricity. Yeah. The more I suffer, the less chances Russia has to win, and the more chances we have for victory.
Suffering takes many forms in Ukraine. One of them is distance. Marichka's daughters are almost 900 miles away, living in Prague, where it's safer. Her husband, Igor, is a sergeant on Ukraine's front lines. Like many Ukrainian families, hers is torn apart by war. 1 year into the invasion, Ukrainians know their safety is never guaranteed. The bridge Marichka often runs on was targeted by the Russians, but they missed, and now Marichka continues her training there. Her dedication and perseverance led to a call in December.
I got an unexpected call from a Ukrainian charity organization based in Boston. You know, not every day you're asked to run a Boston Marathon. And of course I said yes. So I think it will be my personal victory if I do this. We just came to Boston Expert to get my bib number, so I'll be officially a participant. I'm feeling very excited. Hello. I saw people having their medals for their 5K races, and I always feel very envious when I see people with medals, because I know that their mission is over and they can celebrate, and my mission is still to come. Thank you.
Her mission is to run the Boston Marathon for Sunflower of Peace, a Boston-based nonprofit that provides medical bags to paramedics and first aid responders on Ukraine's front lines.
First of all, it's an honor to have you. You know, we've been waiting for you. Everyone is unfortunately touched by this war.
Which means everybody will be touched by our victory.
Absolutely.
Each backpack can say up to 12 lives. Behind you, you see splints, burn dressings, elastic bandages, quick cloths. This is most important and most needed items.
We put as much dressing as we could to fit, because this is essential for all the wounds that they have.
That was my first point for coming here, because I would never come in the middle of the war, run a marathon in a different country just for myself.
This is for hypothermia prevention.
No, the only reason I agreed, I thought it was going to make an impact. Me being an ambassador for Sunflower of Peace will help them to raise more money for the organization. This is the day.
prior to this, she's run 2 marathons, both in Kyiv, both before the war, right alongside her husband. But this time, she runs alone as her husband fights.
Running together was a family thing. Every time he runs with me, supports me, I'm feeling that I'm here for the two of us. On my T-shirt, maybe I would like to have 2 names, but the other name is in my heart. During running, I like to do the daydreaming. And my biggest daydream is announce on TV about the end of the war and about Ukraine's victory. I go to meet my husband when he comes back. The 5 of us go together for the victory parade.
It is a local, it is a national, and it is a global event.
4 hours and 53 minutes later, under gray, rainy skies, Marichka is one of 30,000 other runners. She proudly waves the Ukrainian flag while crossing the finish line. Victorious at last. Finishing her first Boston and international marathon, she's overwhelmed with emotion.
I gave high five everyone with the Ukrainian flag. I hug everyone. So that's why it took a little bit longer. I always get emotional when I see Ukrainian flags.
Draped in her blue and yellow medal,
Congratulations.
the same colors as her flag, her first call is to her husband in Ukraine.
Привіт. Все дуже добре. Я про тебе думала. Я жодного разу не зупинилась, мені жодного разу не було боляче. Була хороша підтримка, були українські прапори, все було добре.
It's especially poignant for Marichka, who ran on U.S. soil for a U.S. charity that's helping Ukraine. She's grateful to the country that's helped her homeland this past year and committing to help for the long road ahead.
There's so little we can do now to thank the United States, but me being here and saying thank you to everyone I meet and during the marathon race is a small contribution.
That was an incredible story. Our thanks to Lindsay Davis for that. And that's our show tonight. I'm Kana Whitworth. ABC News Live is here for you all night long with all of the latest news, context, and analysis. And you can always find us on Hulu, Roku, the ABC News app, and of course, on abcnews.com.
You never know what you're going to get on this show. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yes.